Hi guys, I'm Amy, and I'm not sure what's going on late all of a sudden with my readings, but I'm being guided to do another reading for the Divine Masculine. Okay, so again, I'm being guided to use the Wildwood Tarot. I guess Spirit guided me to buy this deck a month ago because Spirit knew that it wanted me to be doing these Divine Masculine readings. And a month ago, I did not know. That's why I was guided to buy this tarot. I was just really drawn to it when I was in the store, so. But Spirit, please show me what the Divine Masculine Collective needs to know, see, and hear today. Okay, so we had the Five of Bows, Empowerment, Fallout. And I'm going to read that. Five of Bows, Empowerment. By facing and defeating our greatest fears, we empower ourselves and grow more resilient and effective against adversity. This leads to the individual's belief that they are no longer simply powerless. The empowered individual ultimately has the capability to influence and affect the outcome of events and change perception. The mastery of any skill or discipline enables empowerment for clear and decisive mental processes, and the arrows of one's desires and wishes can be loosed at destiny with positive effect. The time of self-empowerment by seizing the initiative is here. By channeling primal, fertile, and protective energies, the individual can evolve a grounded and assertive mindset and utilize this for effective growth and change. This is true not only for the individual, but also for society. It is the meaning of achieving one's destiny as a matter of choice, not chance. The act of observing the particle changes the particle and this raw dynamic life force can be focused and deployed to influence situations in the practical world. Empowerment enables the individual to overcome negative self-images or destructive emotional addictions and increases confidence by overcoming stigma or social handicaps. Empowerment is the key to the attainment of one's destiny and the feeling of spiritual fulfillment through a proactive and positive attitude to life. Hey, I feel like that was a very excellent card to come out for the Divine Masculine Collective. I really like that. Empower yourself, my Divine Masculines. Empower yourself, okay? It doesn't come from outside of you. Okay, next we have the Seven of Stones. Let's see, here we go, Stones. Seven of Stones, healing. I love this. After physical or emotional sickness or injury, a time of inner rest and rejuvenation is required. Patient and peaceful healing comes from a spiritual source. Wholeness and recovery will follow a serious physical or emotional wounding. One of the deepest stages of healing and recovering after any emotional trauma or physical injury is forgiveness. If the healing is from a relationship issue, we often hold on to the pain, mistakenly believing that it keeps us close to the source of that pain. Sometimes we hang on to a sense of loss, loneliness, and betrayal associated with the failure of the relationship. Regret can also be associated with these feelings as one questions one's own motives and actions. Yet, if you have acted with integrity and sincerity, there is no need for regret. It is a waste of energy and healing focus. If regret is present, more work may be required to understand its underlying causes. One of the elements inherent in bringing healing and closure to any situation is acceptance along with self-forgiveness. We are neither perfect nor omnipotent, and therefore we make mistakes. The acceptance of these simple truths can bring healing to the suffering soul. Please remember that, my divine masculines, we do all make mistakes. It is only human to make mistakes, okay? Only human. We all do it. So stop beating yourself up for the mistakes that you've made. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself, and then forgive your counterpart for the mistakes that they've made, because your counterpart is also only human, right? Okay, and now we have Two of Vessels attraction coming up. Okay, attraction. The initial attraction and exploration of potential. The beginning of a possible relationship or friendship, and the precursor to an interchange of polaric energies. Opposition and attraction in love. The first shared spark of attraction between two human beings can appear simple and uncomplicated on the surface, but the underlying psychological chemistry and the subtle interplay that ignites that magical first exchange is usually complex and eclectic. As human beings, we absorb millions of subliminal signals and messages from those around us, and we unconsciously process these stimuli and react to them every second of every day. We subconsciously absorb body language, scent, and non-vocal communication and react to them emotionally with impulses and decision-making instincts developed over millennia. Taking an instantaneous dislike to someone is governed by the same set of prehistoric sensory drives developed by human beings when we roam freely across the African savanna. Love at first sight is as valid today as it was then. Our perceptions and signals are shared, acknowledged, and reciprocated, breaking through the protective barriers and forming the initial polaric bond that is the foundation of deep and lasting attraction. And what I'm getting from this is many of you divine masculines are perhaps in denial over the instantaneous connection you felt, that soul spark you felt at the moment that your eyes met your divine feminine's eyes, right? And I feel like this triggered a lot of fear within the divine masculine as well, which is why the running begins. The fear is triggered, okay? However, in these connections, this is how these connections work, and your counterpart, your divine feminine, felt the instantaneous attraction as well, which is why they get in that chasing energy, okay? It comes from the same place as the running energy comes from. They both come from a place of fear. Okay, so you have to go within and figure out why, for you in particular, have this fear that was triggered. And you go and you work on that fear, and once you no longer have that fear, once you've conquered the fear associated with that, then you will be ready to come back in towards your divine feminine. And you must come in this divine masculine energy. The divine masculine is a leader. The divine masculine provides and protects. And if anyone tells you any differently, they are incorrect. This is how this connection works, okay? You are meant to provide and protect your divine counterpart. You're not meant to run from them. It is the wounding, the childhood wounding being triggered, that causes you to run. You will know that you've healed these triggers once you're able to no longer fear rejection from your divine counterpart. Okay? When you can say, I want this bad enough that I am not going to let the fear control my life any longer. Okay? Step into Step into the not knowing, step into that. Step into the excitement and the thrill of it and stop being so fearful of it. Of course, I know that we're all on our own journey, and you can only do this when you're ready to step into that power. Okay? I'm feeling like, excuse me, like I need to. I'm feeling like I need to give you more here, Divine Masculine, but I'm lost. I don't even know what other deck to even begin with. Most of these are. I admit, most of my decks are geared toward the Divine Feminine. I only, as of the last few days, have been called to do readings for the Divine Masculine as well. And so. I really did want to give you more information on your journey, though. I'm not really finding anything else to go on here, though. Let me see if there's anything else from this deck that Spirit has to tell you. Is there anything else that this divine collective, this divine masculine collective needs to hear or know at this time? Okay. Okay. Anything else, Spirit? Thank you. Okay, so we had two more cards come out. We had the Sun of Life come out first. And I believe that is supposed to represent the Sun card, Divine Masculine. And then we had the Blasted Oak come out, which I believe is the Tower card, Unexpected Ending. So I'm going to read each of these for you. Go to the Sun Life. Okay, a glorious golden spear, glowing white hot, and filled with the churning matter of creation, rises over the landscape, filling the air with the power of our nearest star. Before it stands a figure with arms outstretched. The blessing of ancient sunlight shines within the figure's heart. Around the image, flowers burst into blossom, energized by the healing rays of the sun. Viewed as if from the center of the summer wildwood, the Sun of Life is surrounded by fecundity and growth. The power and importance of the sun cannot be overstated as the bringer of life, warmth, and light into the human world. Many Stone Age sites were created to mark the rising of the sun, especially at midwinter. This was done not only out of respect for the various solar deities, but because the sun meant the coming of plentiful food and the return of life after the death of winter. It was a very real and practical salute to the source of primal power that meant survival and comfort during the warm months of the year, and to the ever renewable promise of the sun's return after its sojourn below the horizon during the winter months. Okay. Without the light of the sun on our world, life would never have begun, let alone evolved into the vast, complex, and varied sprawl of fertility we now see across the face of the globe. On a more complex level of human consciousness, the Sun of Life represents the next step into awareness of the universal mind. After the initial movement from the potential still point of the moon, the sun beckons us beyond the earth, lunar relationship to an awareness of concepts on a solar level. At the heart of the sun is the secret process of nuclear fusion, from which everything we perceive and comprehend on a physical galactic level was created, and will one day return to. The figure at the heart of this process reminds us that we really are made of the matter of the universe. Our physical bodies were created from the waste matter of the cooling and turning of the sun. We are truly at one with the cosmos, and the same interactions between matter and energy that bind the sun together work both within and through us moment by moment. A powerful symbol of light and fertility, the sun of life heralds a season blessed with joyous enlightenment, robust health, and emotional harmony. As the glorious rays of cleansing sunlight spill into the shadows of your heart and life, so the warmth reaches into your very bones and energizes your spirit. It is time to let the inner sun at the core of your being shine for all to see, bringing warmth, light, and harmony to others, and by doing so, to connect with the consciousness of the universal mind. The sun of life also beckons you to see beyond the noise and clatter of human reality and become aware of the vastness and generosity of the cosmic soul. Absolutely beautiful energy there. Okay, and now we've got the blasted oak. A figure falls from a severed branch of the lightning-struck oak. Flames dance around the fallen figure, turning the hair to flame and burning the bonds that appear to have tied the person to the branch. As the figure falls, attached to neither tree nor earth, the powerful lightning energy charges the very air with dancing fingers of light and sinks to earth itself by passing through the figure and shooting from the outstretched fingers that seem to be reaching for the ground. Just as the universe has the power to create, so it also has the power to destroy. The sudden catabolic power of natural catastrophe and disaster is almost unimaginable. With a sideways flick of its tail, the hurricane can uproot a bridge, just as a shudder in the earth's crust can reduce whole cities to rubble and send tidal shock waves around the world. On the human level, we build our seemingly indestructible edifices of theory, technical endeavor, and civilization, believing they are immovable and eternal. We wrap ourselves in the trappings of power and position, but in the end we own nothing. We only borrow for the time we are here. All we truly have is what we have learned. This image combines two of the traditional tarot cards, the Hanged Man and the Tower. Here, the great forest oak is shattered by the power of the storm. For those who have climbed the tree and lashed themselves to a branch, they may fall. The fall may be long. So, too, the arrogance and pretension of material life may be torn apart by a single act of nature or fate. But the fire that blasts a limb also burns the bonds that have held us in a position of false security. Just as a hanged man is caught in a state of divine sacrifice and linked to the threshold, the threefold death, here in the blasted oak, the tree itself is shaken and scarred. Likewise, the tower is shattered by the storm, and believing in the illusion of material power can only end in spiritual isolation, stagnation, and collapse. But even as we fall, the power that floods our senses with pain also cleanses and burns away the illusions and falsehoods. As our hands reach for the stable earth, the power grounds itself through us. Our senses are alive with the heat of life. Our emotions are ablaze with passion. Perhaps we had forgotten the intensity of desire, the need to keep struggling for understanding. The essence of true strength and enduring spirit cannot be bought with gold or position or grandiose esoteric theory. It is found in the ashes and flames of nature's own wild card. What appears to be a random dissolution or destruction of your beliefs and relationships is timely and natural. The sea swallows what was built on shifting sand, and you are liberated from being a powerless victim. Now you have a base on which your inner strength can adapt and evolve. This may happen suddenly with shock and speed. The trauma may leave you stunned and confused, but the fiery blast that sent you falling to earth has also jolted you from a state of trance that allowed you to avoid dealing with profound and fundamental issues. Don't be angry or bitter at this passing, for whatever has gone never really belonged to you. Be patient, wait, and learn from the process of loss. Okay? And we do learn a lot through loss over time, for sure. So, this journey, definitely for the divine feminine, because I am a divine feminine. And from the divine feminine, this journey just, I don't know from the masculine perspective because I don't have the masculine perspective. I have the feminine perspective of this journey, but it tears apart everything false that you ever believed. Like it rips all of that to shred, every false belief you've ever had and every false security you've ever believed in. Like it tears all that apart till nothing is left but the bare truth. Okay, I'm going to leave this reading here, and I thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day or night, depending on when you're watching. Thanks. Bye.